Okay, so for the topic of real world education, if we just dive on in, real world education is taking your standard classroom and making it something that's more collaborative. It's not just a normal lecture hall, you're taking collaborative groups, you're taking innovative groups where they can work together. Another side of real world education is being able to apply everything you're learning to your everyday life. So, not just sitting there and learning about stuff that's never going to help you in your career, never help you in your future. It's all about how can I apply this to my everyday life? How can I use this in my future career? So, getting started, like I said, it's taking this traditional idea of education and changing it. And it's relating the curriculum and lessons to the classroom to real life scenarios. I like this little meme up here. It says, I see you did well in school, but what real world skills do you have? And he says, tests, I can take tests. And it feels like that's what all we do in the school system sometimes. So, real world education is really just focusing on education, but also educating real life problems and critical thinking, problem solving, reflecting, all those kinds of values. So we get into this, there are some cons. Some people believe that real world education focuses on group projects and collaboration, which can be difficult to implement into a classroom regularly, which I can understand. If you're in a big lecture hall with 500 students, that might be hard to do a group classroom, but maybe in another lecture, you're only with 20 students, where in that case, it's going to be a lot easier to have a group setting. You can do a collaborative group. So maybe it's not implemented into every single classroom, but most. Some people also think that students should have a well rounded education and should learn material, even if it's not directly applicable to everyday life. And I do agree with that because even if it's not directly applicable to your future career, daily situations, stuff like that, you're still going to be able to relate to people that do have to use that in their careers, and you're still going to have some knowledge of what they do rather than having no idea at all. As we continue into the current trends of real world education, two things that I found that were very important in real world education was first, authentic learning. This just means that you're actually taking the time to learn what the curriculum is, you're actually taking the time to receive it, reflect on it. So there you see, trying to promote critical thinking, reflection, problem solving. You're trying to increase the real world experiences and what that's going to look like when you're out in the real world and you have to make a portfolio, you have to make a resume, you have to present yourself in a professional manner. It also includes vocational training, apprenticeships, internships, stuff where they're going to get out in the real world, they're going to experience it. And most importantly, I thought this was very cool how it says it's giving students the freedom to discover and find their passion, which is, I think that's the most authentic and cool thing about real world education so far. And then as we head over into the collaborative learning, this is just like we said before, this is making it easier for students to learn, but also teachers to be innovative and interactive. This is supposed to grow a lot in this coming years. And there's also resources that can help this. We have Kahoot, where you can do group quizzes, you can do group reviews, Google Docs as well as something where many people can get on and they can add their thoughts, or if you're doing a collaborative paper. These resources are also going to enhance the student involvement. They're going to think it's fun to take a quiz on the projector rather than taking it on a blank piece of white paper. Also, some strategies as we head into this. This is when it gets to be fun and interactive. That's when you can bring the news into what you're learning in class. And I know that sometimes the news isn't as happy and uplifting, but it is what's happening in the world, and I'm sure there's many ways we can find how to incorporate that into our daily lessons. Also, if you bring in guest speakers who have experience in their field, then that's someone that knows what they're talking about for sure, and they have stories to tell, they have background information to give the students so they can understand and kind of get a piece of what that's going to be like. Also, taking a field trip, giving students a real life problem to solve, all of those things also. Lastly, some tools. We have Zoomverse, EdHeads, and Talkboards, and those are all just forms of communication and how classroom can be relevant, stuff like that. And just a summary, I think it can be input into our classroom very smoothly. I think it's very helpful, and I think that'll make the students a lot more interactive. They'll start to be more engaged in what they're learning because they're actually going to be able to apply it to their everyday lives.